Congratulations. Another €10,000. Eterito, obviously your gamer tag. What do you think brought you to become MVP? Was it goals? Was it assists? What?
Well, I think Konami decided to send MVP to the best player in each game, because the totality of the point is composed from dribbling, kick, defense. So I think the best player in each day, it's the best for.
So all-round perfection then. Do you think you can do it again this week? Win MVP again?
We try, or maybe my teammates. We will see.
Okay, congratulations again. We're going to go back to the stage soon, but let's take a look at Eterito's action from match day 2. Douglas Costa on the left-hand side. It's a frightening front three. He's played through in towards the danger area. Left foot shot, saved by the goalkeeper. Time for Juventus. Now, Ronaldo wins it back again, plays it through. Real chance here for Juventus if he can steal a march. Yes, he can. Chips the goalkeeper. Oh, and it's kicked into the back of the net. There's a question about a plan B. They have a very solid plan A, but to be able to change games in-game, and it's 3-0. It's Ettore again.
Do you switch from a possession game to a counter-attacking game?
It's a real chance here for 4! And this is turning into an absolute whitewash here. Ronaldo, not a player you want to face on a counter-attack. Back towards Costa, in towards Dybala. Another chance here, onto his favourite left foot. Yeah, so that was the action from Eterito from match day 2. We now turn our attention, gents, to match day 3. Some incredible fixtures again. Harry, what's happening today? Talk us through it.
Well, the MVP from match day 2 is up first here in our very first game today. We are going to be seeing some tremendous matches all throughout here, match day 3. Let's go through them, shall we? Boavista are the team that Juventus are going to be taking on. So Eterito going to be trying to replicate his performance there after match day 1, winning MVP.
I think we might have some stats actually from MVP.
Stats, yeah, but now we're going to be moving on to the fixtures. You missed it, so
well, whatever.
What are you going to do?
Live shows are always great, aren't they?
Match day 1, match 1 of the day, I should say. Boavista versus Juventus. So the hard games keep coming for Boavista. They're doing okay in the league at the moment, but they really want to try and get these difficult games out early. AS Monaco versus FC, not an all-league affair. Also first versus second in the league, that second game of the match day. Celtic FC versus Manchester United, both teams vying for supremacy in the league so far. The games are slowly running out though for Celtic FC, and they need to turn around their form very quickly. FC Barcelona versus Arsenal, both teams certainly want to be towards the top of the league table come the end of the season. And then, as you see at the bottom, Bayern München versus Schalke 04. I mean, an all-German affair. Bayern,
it's a huge game.
Bayern are on some tremendous form after match day 2. Schalke very disappointed after shipping so many goals against Juventus. They're going to want to try
after looking so solid in match day 1. It was a real surprise, wasn't it, Wes?
Yeah, I mean, to see, you know, as they mentioned in the video package, you could see that they referenced a lot of individual mistakes, and again, it's quite uncharacteristic of Schalke to have that many mistakes in one sitting. You're hoping, if you're a Schalke player, you're hoping that that's all your mistakes out of the way now, and you can go on and just get back to winning ways, as it were.
Yeah, we might be able to go to backstage and actually see the Schalke 04 players and some of the others as they prepare for the match day that's coming up. You can see live footage here from the training room. And of course, Wes, you know this team very well. What's going through their minds right now? Just minutes for some of them before the big event kicks off.
Well, the general vibe was different up there from the previous 2 match days. As I went up there, I spent some time with some of the players. It's more tense.
More tense.
There seems to be a little bit of nerves around the place. I think people are slowly realising that, as Harry alluded to, games are running out for teams, and you know every game is vital now. And I think people are starting to realise they're actually now involved in the league rather than it being, you know, knockout tournaments they may be used to from previous tournaments.
I actually spoke to Lotfi just a few seconds ago before we came on air, and he actually mentioned how they've been here since Thursday. So they've obviously come out and prepped for this again, and that preparation, as we've seen up there, it seems to be quite key at this highest level, you know, determining who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, it's all about being comfortable in your environment, and some of the teams who might just turn up for a match day here and just sit down and start playing might not be as comfortable and might not be able to perform to the best of their abilities compared to a team like Bayern München, who come out here early, they put the time in, they put the work in, and try and be as best as they can be for the match day.
Yeah, so without further ado, we are going to kick things off with the first match of match day 3, which is, of course, Boavista FC versus Juventus. And for Boavista, we have Barbosa, Joker, and Yiu, who should be on your screen there. Beautiful players there, have to say, moody pictures. And of course, for Juventus, we have Eterito, Luca Gibelli, and Lo Scandalo as well. I mean, two of those, Luca and Ettore, have played a lot together. Lo Scandalo's joined them, and let's see how they get on in match day 3. So let's get straight to it now.
Today we will fight for both victories because we want to get back into the top 6. We know Juventus are a strong team, but we feel prepared.
Perfect. We're training a lot, like last time. We try to win for go up in the table, and well, just we try to win, and hopefully, only this.
Perfect. Yeah, lovely to hear the words of wisdom there. A couple of vox pops before the kickoff. Anything that you picked out from those two interviews?
I think it's realistic for Boavista to maybe look at that top 6 threshold, you know, try and get into the playoff round as a bare minimum. Juventus obviously chasing AS Monaco at the top. They're hoping, you know, because Monaco have somewhat of a tougher game against FC Nantes a bit later on, that maybe they drop points, maybe they can gain a bit of ground. So, yeah, pretty level-headed, I think, from both sides.
Wes, who's this game most important for? You've got Juventus, who are chasing for the top and probably would feel themselves as one of the favourites. Perhaps slightly less ambition, you could say, for Boavista, due to the fact that they were more of a, you know, an unknown quantity going in. But it's a hugely important match day for them due to the lack of points so far.
Yeah, I think it's pretty important for both teams. I think as we mentioned there, Boavista don't really have that many expectations coming in. They're just wanting to hit top 6. I think Juventus, on the other hand, they're looking to break away from that pack that seems to have emerged of, I think it's about 3 or 4 teams are at 7 points.
Yeah.
So they're looking to try and break out of that pack. It's very hard to call. We had Boavista that, you know, took points off of Monaco when they weren't expected to. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out.
Get ready for a huge day of esports action. We're going to go straight to match day 1 now. It is Boavista FC versus Juventus FC. Let's go.
Welcome, guys. Check your hand.
Sí, le he dicho que se tiraron, pero bueno.
So the players have taken their seats for the first match of the day. All smiles from both camps, actually. You may at home be listening at some point during today. You may be able to hear some of the sort of background stuff that's going on between the players. We have, of course, mics down there as well, so anything that is picked up hopefully will give you a bit of an insight, guys, into what's going on, you know, in the heads and tactics and stuff like that. Intrigued? Excited?
Yeah, some top-level analysis from me right here. Both teams with the black and white strip. Some funny sort of stories behind the Juventus kit. Some people might not know an English league team actually gifted the Juventus strip back in 1903. Thanks to team member John Savage back in the day.
Is it Notts County by any chance?
It most certainly was. I was avoiding using the name, but there we go. It's out there now.
Well, Wes told me, so blame Wes.
And yeah, from then on, they just went on to be called the Zebras, thanks to their, at this point, you know, sort of unanimous and world-renowned black and white strip.
And people say that research doesn't get you anywhere. Anyway, so today, of course, listening in for this game, on comms we have myself and Harry Shannon, and we also have Wes giving us all the expert opinion and telling us what's exactly happening in terms of the gameplay, because obviously he has a long history in the game. How do you see this one panning out then, guys?
For me, again, it's all about the differing situations between the two teams. Boavista chasing that top 6 spot. Right now they're sat outside of the top 6. They're sat 7th in the league, a -6 goal difference, which might come back and bite them come the end of the season. Whereas you look at Juventus, they're flying high.
Did you say Juventus?
They're 3rd in the league,
Great
7 points, plus 6 goal difference, with some tremendous goal-scoring form against Schalke last week. So some very differing teams, both in terms of ideology, where they want to be at the end of the season, as well as form coming in from match day 2.
But Wes, Juventus have been, let's be honest, indifferent. They had a pretty average to poor first week, and then they were brilliant last week. What are we going to see this week? Are we going to see them back to their best, or is this going to be a real test? Because Boavista have been pretty decent as well.
Yeah, I think if you looked at the game plans as we started out there, you could see that Boavista have actually set up with a 5 at the back. They seem to quite respect the attacking force that Juve can be. I think we'll see more of the same from Juve this week. It'll be more about how Boavista actually combat this going forward, though.
Indeed. So it's Boavista who start from left to right in the black and white kit, and Juventus obviously in their away kit, kicking from right to left. And it's been all Boavista FC in the early few minutes. Good hassling there, though, from Juventus, and now a chance to win it back, and they have done, and it's in towards Cassiano. Good challenge from Bonucci, and it's out for the first set piece of the day so far. It will be a corner on the far touchline. 4 minutes gone, and a chance to really remember, Wes, they produced some brilliant set pieces in match day 2. Perhaps they can try something again here. It's out towards the edge. Oh, he could take it first time, takes one touch, drops it off towards Bueno. Can't quite get the shot in, but whips it across the face, headed away. They camped inside the penalty area at the moment. They can't get out. Now they can, and a chance to counter through Cristiano Ronaldo. First real chance of the day, Harry.
Yeah, and for me, it was important for Boavista to come out as they did, but oh, look at this massive hole at the back.
Missing towards Douglas Costa, left foot shot, saved by the goalkeeper, as you were, Harry.
Yeah, good save there from Barbosa. It was Lo Scandalo, I think, who had that chance. Obviously, a little bit on fire after match day 2, was able to scoop a match ball thanks to 4 goals back 2 weeks ago in match day 2. So he's going to be someone in fine goal-scoring form you have to look out for.
Wes, what are you seeing in terms of formations and any sort of personnel things going on at the moment?
Well, as I say, in terms of the way that this is going, it's a lot of the ball has been in Juve's half, to the surprise of playing 5-3-2, whereas Boavista have to be very careful of this counter-attack that Juve have got with the likes of Dybala, Cuadrado, Ronaldo, and Piazza. You have to be careful.
So how the two teams have set up so far, who do you think this is going to aid in the game? So are you saying this is going to help Juventus more than anything?
Well, I think it will allow Juve a little bit more room to move, because you've got less men in midfield, you've got less men tracking forward, as you can see here, Khedira into Douglas Costa. They have a bit more room to breathe. So I think Boavista have really got set up to really just build a wall and try and nick a goal.
Indeed, as the ball gets played forwards, we saw the table that came up on the left-hand side. AS Monaco, of course, top of the tree with 10 points so far, as the offside flag is raised for a slight stray of the right boot there, and a chance for a free kick to Bonucci. It's been a very, very non-existent 20 minutes, Harry.
Yeah, a little bit pragmatic so far from both sides. Joker there just a little bit too eager to try and jump the Juventus defence, and hopefully he can reel that in as we go later on in the game.
It's another solid challenge there, and a chance for Bueno out towards Paulinho and forward towards Cassiano. A lot of the action has revolved around that man, popping it into him and getting it back, but they've not been able to feed off him at the moment as the ball gets played up towards that area again. Idris now maintains possession. That's a sloppy pass, but it will stay with Boavista FC. It's been a promising start for the team, who are on paper considered possibly not favourites here, as Marlon now has the ball and plays it in towards the danger area, and it is Tavares now pops it off towards Paulinho, blocked by Sami Khedira, and a chance to counter again for Juventus. This seems to be the best chance that Juventus have at the moment, because they're really struggling to get out. What's happening?
Yeah, well, they just seem to not be able to really break free and get that final chance. But again, I think it's more a case that with Boavista, they're looking to just consolidate what they have. If they can get a goal, great. If they don't and it ends 0-0, I think they'll be happy with that. But you can see there, that's the way that they're played.
Yeah, you have to think about this game as maybe a throwaway game, I want to say, for Boavista. Yes, they have ambitions further up the league, but Juventus are one of those teams we expect to be within the top 3, very minimum, come the end of the season.
Yeah, certainly big pressure all on the Italian Giants as Dybala picks the ball up. He's been in tremendous form this season as Fabiano clears his lines. Half an hour gone, Boavista 0, Juventus 0. We are deadlocked here, but look at that possession. Boavista have 63% possession in these opening stages, and they'll be very, very impressed with that. We will go shortly to Harry, but it's going to drop into the danger area. First chance for Juventus. Good save.
Good shot there from Il Distratore. So close. He was on fire as well on match day 2, but for me, I think Juventus have set up as saying, you know what, we think Boavista might try and keep the ball. We're going to have faith in our counter-attacks here, maybe strike from the corner.
They've changed personnel on the kick, and they've changed it again. Could this be possibly a bit of mind games here from Juventus? Whipped in towards the dip. Oh, right across the face. A swing and a miss for Cristiano Ronaldo. Couldn't get any purchase on the scissors volley, but it's still in the danger area, and it's a chance for Juventus. And again, just can't quite get that final ball as Rabiot now finds Khedira. Another chance here. Good defending again. Oh, no, it's not. It's a penalty. Real controversy here in the opening stages. The referee has pointed to the spot, and Cristiano Ronaldo has the chance from 12 yards. It's Captain Fantastic. Save by the goalkeeper. Unbelievable drama here inside the opening 37 minutes.
Joker with the save up against Lo Scandalo, I think it was, taking the penalty. Joker from Boavista with the save down to his right. Unbelievable.
No jokes there from the goalkeeper as Khedira plays it across the face. And Juventus are really turning the screw now. Douglas Costa tries to get away from the defender. Yes, he can. It's in towards the danger area again. And Boavista just managed to smuggle it clear. And it's all hands on deck as Boavista, after a really bright start, are now really struggling to come to terms with the trio from Italy. Cassiano, now Paulinho. Whoa, that was a real breathtaking 5 minutes there, Harry.
Yeah, it really was. You might have seen some of the statistics there flash up. The one for me is looking out for Luca Tubelli. Again, Il Distratore, 4 goals, 4 assists, helped by, of course, Eterito and Lo Scandalo, but now an attack potentially here for Boavista.
Tavares out towards Paulinho. Now to Cassiano, gets it back off him, plays it in towards Tavares again. Good defending this time from Chiellini. And now, oh, that's a naughty challenge from Paulinho there, but the referee plays a good advantage through towards Dybala. He plays it on again. It's a really sloppy pass in the end, though, and that wraps up a half that promised so not little and delivered quite a lot in the last 10 to 15 minutes, Wes.
Yeah, I mean, just to touch on that penalty save, for those watching at home, you saw the goalkeeper just inch to the right. It gives onus to the person taking the penalty to put it in the opposite
bit of a
side.
bluff.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bluff. They pointed to that side, and, you know, great save.
So you can hear the players speaking now.
Let's have a little listen.
How's your Italian, Harry?
It's not great.
Seems to be a few fiery words in the Juventus camp there.
My Portuguese isn't great either.
I mean, to be honest, there's only one thing they would have been talking about at half-time, and that is that missed penalty from Cristiano Ronaldo. You would usually put your house on that flying into the onion bag. Cassiano. Now, Guano, lovely chance for the 1-2, gets it back. Great challenge again. Juventus defensively, Harry, have been pretty brilliant.
Yeah, they have. It's going to be tricky, I think, for Boavista maybe to break them down again.
You feel
they seem to just get bodies behind the ball and are happy to or content with playing on that counter-attack, and when they do pin Boavista back, that's when they really strike.
Yeah, you feel that it's only a matter of time before Juve get another chance. It's just whether they can take it this time. It's in towards Dybala. Oh, he just couldn't pull the trigger. Another big chance for Juventus comes and goes. Are they going to rue these missed opportunities?
That's surprising. Luca Tubelli there, 4 goals, 4 assists. Just needs to pull the trigger there with Dybala.
Douglas Costa in towards the near post. Ronaldo again. Wes, is it a lack of ability in the attacking third, or is it just brilliant defending at this stage?
I think it's just been really good defending. As we said, you know, playing 5 at the back, it has its faults with having not a lot of players going forward, but you have a lot in the defensive half that are able to really take control of the game.
Ronaldo again, just whacked away by Fabiano. You feel the longer the game goes on, we know that 1 goal might be enough here, but you feel the longer the game goes on, there's going to be a few more chances as tired legs come into play. Substitutions, of course, as again, Dybala can't get on the end of that final pass, and Marlon has the chance to counter here for Boavista. Possibly one of the better chances to get something from this game now, as Juventus seeming to be bossing most of possession. Now Dybala pops it on towards Ronaldo. Always away from it. Surely a foul. Referee says absolutely not. Waves away the appeals. Harry?
Get on the weights. That's what I say. Just muscled off the ball.
Harry says good decision.
Absolutely. But one thing I've seen so far, as Juventus are going to queue up a pause here, next time the ball goes out of play, Barbosa has been tremendous defensively for Boavista, so watch out for that.
Ronaldo. Again, the final pass is a poor one, but they win it back through Rabiot. Twisting, turning, trying to get away from the defender. Now Douglas Costa, offside flag, possibly will be raised. Referee plays on, because it's in Boavista possession. Not for long, they just can't seem to get out at the moment. The pressure is building in Suede. It's in towards the danger area. Now it's all, Cristiano Ronaldo. The studs away from turning that home. But still, Juventus come. They just can't get out Boavista. It's Douglas Costa. Another tremendous save from the Boavista #1. And as things stand, he's got to be man of the match so far.
Yeah, I mean, this defensive performance from Boavista is something else.
And could they possibly cause problems on the counter-attack? They've only gone and done it. It's an unbelievable counter-attack from Boavista just when it looked like Juventus were going to go 1-0 up. Harry, it's gone the other way.
It's Barbosa, the goal scorer, leading goal scorer for Boavista. 3 goals entering today's match day, make that 4. And what a clinical goal it is as well against Juventus. The man who I was praising defensively earlier on in the commentary sat 3rd league-wide in defence points. Slams it home for Boavista.
And you saw there, Wes, you saw Eldridge O'Neill celebrating upstairs for Manchester United, possibly thinking this might benefit them going forwards in the competition.
Yeah, well, that's our VIP zone camera that you can see, and you can see that everybody's invested in these games when we see them going on. And
there it is again.
You just see pump fist in there.
Well, the thing
you can
is,
hear a lot of jeers upstairs now. He's been found out.
Tactical changes coming in here, but the thing is that definitely benefits Manchester United, because they are one of those 3 or 4 teams that are sat on 7 points alongside Juventus. So
absolutely,
this has massive implications going throughout the league.
Now, Wes, we've almost down-talked Boavista. In fact, we're just going to hear from the players here what definitely Eterito, the sort of captain figure, isn't he? But we've seen Boavista last match day go up against Monaco. They weren't able to hold out, but they played really well in that first game. Are we not giving them enough credit, Wes?
I think the way that they've played, the way that they've set out their team, they've set it out to combat Juve. It's not been, they tried to go a little bit toe-to-toe with Monaco last match day. I think this match day they've looked at it and gone, actually, we can play in a particular way here. We can get ourselves a result. And as Harry alluded to, pragmatism has kicked in for Boavista. And this 5 at the back formation plays into their hands perfectly, Harry.
Absolutely, it does. And confirmation there of the goal scorer for Boavista. Man on 4 goals now. Barbosa, the captain.
Wow. What a game so far we've had. Even though we've only had the 1 goal, it's been full of drama. And can Boavista not only hold out, but they're looking for a second here.
Looks like this will be a corner. I think this just took a deflection after the first time shot. We'll see it here again. Is there a little touch? We'll see what the referee points.
All eyes on the linesman here. And he's given a goal kick. So Juventus have 15 minutes to salvage anything from this first match. Of course, we do have a second match coming straight afterwards, so they still have a chance of 3 points in that game. But this would be, you'd have to say, a blow. And potentially, we could be looking at the end of the tournament that Boavista were the dark horse.
And what's really strange for me is seeing Eterito, MVP from the last match day, really struggling to string together that vital pass that releases the defence and relieves a bit of pressure in midfield. He's just playing it straight into the Boavista hands here. Very strange to see from such an experienced previous world champion in Eterito.
Yeah, they've done such a great job to nullify the former world champion. Usually one of the hottest prospects on the tour as the ball gets played back, and Boavista just keep possession, but they've lost it here now.
Dangerous.
Chance to counter through Khedira now. Cuadrado forward towards Higuain. The changes have come thick and fast for Juventus. Dybala is one of those who did stay on, but again, it's a sloppy pass. And we keep saying it's the attacking passing that's a bit sloppy, but defensively, as Wes keeps pointing out, has been brilliant from Boavista. And they're in again here. Chance to wrap up this first game. It's 2-0 to Boavista. And look at the celebrations. They are going wild.
Absolutely unbelievable from a team who expected just to be on the fringe of the top 6, taking down in a dominant fashion a team in Juventus who we thought maybe might be champions-elect here in the eFootball.Pro. I think it was Barbosa once again with the goal.
Yeah. Well, you look at it, it's just it's Boavista's game plan that have won this. We said it time and time again in match day 1, match day 2. You will win and lose these games in your game plan screens. They're hitting them on the break, and they're absorbing all of that defensive pressure. Their players are all sinking back in. At times, it looks like they've got 8 people in the box just to break down the Juve attacks. We do talk about sloppy passing, but I think we're underplaying a little bit of the Boavista game plan here, who have clearly gone away, looked at this Juve side and gone, we park three centre-backs on Juve's 3 forwards, it locks them down.
You've got to love his celebrations there. But it's, I mean, a few eyebrows were raised in the close season when Boavista decided to completely change their personnel going into the new campaign. They've gone for homegrown talent, potentially homegrown talent that we were saying are a little bit unknown on the tour. But, I mean, it's paying off right now, isn't it?
Yeah, let's have a little listen to what they're saying. As we had there some tactical changes, but you're right, it really is paying off. Boavista so far have really produced some shocks. This would be the biggest of the lot after stealing a point from AS Monaco, who are at the top of the league so far. Last week, or last match day I should say, potentially 3 points minimum here against Juventus would be massive.
So barring an absolute miracle, Juventus will be going into that second match with 0 points from today, as Boavista with 74% pass completion. Look at that though, 68 for Juventus. That tells a story in itself. They just simply haven't found their players enough, as Dybala has the chance to play it in towards Higuain again. You have to say, Fabiano has been tremendous. Just as I say that, he goes and almost gives the ball away in a dangerous area. But that back line for Boavista have been absolutely incredible so far. And we're into the dying embers of the first game, of the first matchup. And that is not a great challenge from Idris, but he will simply not care, because time is ticked away. And even if they were to score from this set piece, it looks as good as done here, as Dybala has the chance onto his left foot in towards Higuain. And that pretty much sums up Juventus' day so far. Harry, not good enough.
No, certainly not. And that tackle from one of the Boavista players, certainly one you would class as a professional tackle to stop play, you know, get men behind the ball. It looks like Boavista will be cruising to 3 points.
You can't say it's not deserved. They have looked, Wes, pretty comfortable throughout the whole of the match.
Yeah, I mean,
barring the penalty, obviously, which is quite a huge thing, I suppose.
That in itself is a massive talking point. That penalty goes in, the game is completely different. It's a completely different set of circumstances. We saw warning signs of how good that they could perform last match day when they were playing against Monaco, and they've kind of took it up even more of a notch by, like I say, just by setting out to disrupt the Juve attacking unit. It's enough to get them the points.
Yeah, and it has finished here. Boavista 2, Juventus 0 in the opening game of match day 3. And well, if you were thinking about switching off, that pretty much goes to show that anything can happen here, because we are at such a high level.
You can see the post-mortem analysis already starting there from Eterito. He's certainly going to be demanding more from himself and from his teammates after losing that game, not by just 1 goal, but by 2, when you had a penalty saved as well.
Wes, what do they do? Because Juventus were completely nullified. I know we're perhaps giving them a bit of a disservice because they should have scored the penalty, and that is quite a big point, don't get me wrong. But outside of that, I can think of maybe one more big chance.
Yeah, there wasn't that many chances in it for
How
you.
can they break this Boavista team down?
Well, if you're looking at five at the back and you've only got 3 in midfield, you pack in midfield. You might switch to 4-5-1. You might have a bit more of a possession game in midfield. Granted, you'll give them time to get back, but if you were to set out your formation in the right way, you've then got abilities to then bring players into the game. So you could have 2 attacking midfielders as opposed to, you know, having just a centre midfielder. You can bring players into the game, and you know, if you've got a point man, especially with, you know, the likes of Ronaldo, Higuain, who's quite a physical unit as well, you've got players there that have the ability to hold up the ball. Use them, use those players, use them to effect, because at the moment, the way that Juventus are playing, it's just getting absorbed by what is a pretty stout Boavista defence.
I think with those 2 goals that we just saw from Barbosa, I think that he has launched himself up the table in terms of goal scoring ability.
And possibly MVP for next match day as well.
No, ma io non sto, il rigore è ok, non sto dicendo che è sbagliato il rigore. Ci sta che l'hai messo a sinistra. Sto dicendo però che le azioni vere e proprie si devono sognare. Se arrivi davanti al portiere, o la passi, o te lo smarchi, o tiri a di trivela col sinistro, hai tutte le opportunità, non puoi tirare tu qua e il portiere qua, non puoi.
What's interesting listening to these guys is that Eterito is certainly the main captain there, whereas Boavista, they're all kind of chirping in. Maybe that's something that's happening at the moment, you know, this sort of team spirit that's building.
Well, you raised the point about Barcelona in match day 2 in regards to you want to see more communication from them. With Juve, like you said, it's Torre that's leading it and is leading that, whereas if you have a bit more of a collaborative approach, you might get a better play.
Well, straight from the start, it may have pulled off, but again, it's that man, probably my pick defensively from match 1, Fabiano, who makes the challenge, but it's in towards Douglas Costa again. Juventus starting on the front foot, and certainly Boavista are going to have to sort of be pretty tight at the back early doors.
Yeah, looks like it was Barbosa with both those saving tackles there for Boavista.
Rabiot now finds Dybala. Now back towards Rabiot again. Good challenge coming in, and Boavista have the chance to clear their lines up towards Cassiano. It's going to be a very, very tight and tense affair, certainly in the opening 30 minutes or so, as Boavista look to maintain what they did in the first game, because Wes, I can't imagine them playing any other way.
Yeah, if you've already gone away and worked on a game plan, you're not going to deviate from it once you've won a game 2-0. You know, you're looking at Juve.
It's a perfect first game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's perfect. They've nullified their attack. They got a good penalty save in there, and they're able to hit 2 goals on the break. I think here it's going to be similar. They're going to be looking for opportunities. They're going to wait for people to get tired, and then it will open up opportunities. You can see here, Boavista just absorbing every
They're
attack.
sitting so deep right now,
Yeah.
and Juventus just can't quite find that needle in the haystack at the moment.
The thing is, when you do sit deep, though, it can leave you susceptible to runs in behind. But so far, defensively, Boavista have been very, very solid.
Well, I think, Wes, you know, if they are sitting deep, you've either got to, you know, try your luck from distance or possibly try and get wider stretch to play, as Douglas Costa does just that. And now Dybala is challenged by Marlon. One back, though, by Rabiot. And this siege mentality is continuing here from Juventus, but they still, after 15 minutes or so, haven't really created a major chance.
You talk about taking long shots. I mean, we spoke about this again in previous match days. These guys will look for percentage shots. They'll look for the opportunities that are guaranteed as Douglas Costa works his way in. They're looking for opportunities where they know there's no risk to the opportunity. It might take a risk.
That's what I'm saying. The trouble is they might have to take a risk to break this stubborn Boavista FC defence down. 20 minutes gone here, still deadlocked in 0-0. This will certainly favour Boavista, because they'll be more than happy with 4 points if it stays the same. So I can't imagine them changing too much, and if they can hit them on the counter, that is an added bonus, as Cassiano's in again here. Great challenge from Bonucci, first sniff of a chance for the Portuguese Giants, and Marlon is there to play it back to the goalkeeper.
And more to that point, I think Boavista right now would be happy with 3 points. I mean, obviously they want more out of this game considering it's still 0-0, but I think they would have bit your hand off if you said that they would take 3 points against Juventus coming into this match day.
Yeah, 100%. I think, you know, they've got 3 more points than they anticipated they'd start out with at the start of the day. I mean, a lot of people weren't picking this as a game that Juventus would look to drop points in, but like I said, the way that they've equipped themselves, it's playing the way that your team should be set out to play. It's finding what works for your team and what works for your co-op team.
And we will be going to the mix zone after the match to hear from the players. Our wonderful Harry, who has his voice back, will be interesting to see those questions. But one of the questions I'd like to know is, do they see themselves as that underdog, or do they seem to fancy themselves as a late challenge comes in and it gives Juventus a real chance from a pretty dangerous position, and of course it is that man, Cristiano Ronaldo, as Bueno picks up the first caution of the match. Very even percentage of possession, and also very similar or the same pass completion as well, but he's going to give it to Dybala, and now it's in towards Ronaldo again. Oh, good strength shown by the Portuguese captain, wins it back, they can't get out. Dybala plays it to Costa, surely someone's got to have a shot. It's Rabiot! And Juventus take the lead, and the pressure was building, and now, Harry, we're going to see what Boavista are made of.
We'll see, but it's got to be said, Juventus, they needed that goal. Belief might have started to just maybe start slacking a little bit. Drained of confidence against a very stout Boavista defence, but they finally cracked the puzzle. Bit fortunate here in the box, it's got to be said, but the composure to find Rabiot and his right foot from that distance, always going to find the back of the net.
And I suppose, Wes, we keep talking about Juventus and what they need to do. I mean, they're good enough, we know that, they've kind of just been, you know, poking away at the defence and you know, probing and confident that they'll find a breakthrough, and that they've got it.
Yeah, I mean, if you know, like we said, we talked about how crucial the penalty was in the first game. They now have a chance. They've now had their chance. They've converted their chance. That's the first kind of clear-cut chance I can remember from Juve. But you know, Boavista are still dangerous here.
1-0, challenged by Douglas Costa. Of course, Boavista now have to come out, although you wouldn't think they'd come out too much. We're still in the first half, 1-0 scoreline. If we can keep that towards the end of the last sort of 20-15 minutes, and then they can then go on the assault. But yeah, certainly nothing too drastic so far. I would imagine, Wes, from them to change.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, they're not switching formations. They clearly believe in the system that they're playing at the moment. However, you know, as you get to the latter stages of the game, you're going to need to press, and you're going to need to press hard to really affect the game.
Oh, it's a lovely 1-2 there. He gets it back. Chance to get the shot away. Oh, the goalkeeper's come and gone. Ronaldo's hit the foot of the post, and they are inches away, a hair's breadth from a second goal, which might just have wrapped up all 3 points. And as it stands, Harry, Boavista are hanging on here.
I'm sat here with my hands on my head. I know it's an acrobatic attempt, but
he's got to score.
He has to do better there. Very unfortunate not to be 2 up.
Whack downfield anywhere will do, as Boavista are crying for that save by the bell moment, the half-time whistle, as Ronaldo plays it in, blocked again, back to Ronaldo again, in towards Rabiot, still can't get the shot away, queuing up here, and finally the shot comes in, but it's straight at the goalkeeper, and a huge sigh of relief for Boavista as the referee trots up towards the halfway line, whistle to his lips, and it's finished at the end of the first half. Juventus 1, Boavista 0.
It's going to be very interesting to hear how the mentality is on the Boavista side after finding themselves down for the first time in this match. I would love to listen in and hear what they have to say.
Again, it's still Etorito leading the communications. Still smiles, though, from the Boavista lads there.
Yeah, it's a shame we listened into Juventus there. I would have loved to have heard of what the Portuguese outfit had to say for themselves, whether or not the mood in the camp might have been dampened by that Juventus goal. But yeah, you're right, still the world champion, or previous world champion, I should say, Etorito, and matchday 2 MVP, barking the orders at his teammates.
Oh, slight miscommunication there from Boavista. We mentioned how that penalty miss in the first game was so crucial, and could Ronaldo's acrobatic overhead kick onto the foot of the post be also equally as crucial in this one?
So those 2 goals in the first game for Boavista now lifts him up to joint first leading goal scorer in the league with Lotfi and Özmakabil, both from AS Monaco. So good performance there from Boavista. He'll be happy with that.
And as things stand, Juventus are sitting second in the table. Obviously, games have been played more than the opposition. Monaco still top the table with 2 games to play with 10 points as Douglas Costa finds Cristiano Ronaldo in towards Rabiot and Dybala as well, and that might be the goal that sends Juventus to the first 3 points of the day, the only 3 points of the day for them after the 3 for Boavista earlier in the day. It was a stunning team goal again, and not quite as many cheers in that background shot there, Wes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, looking at it, it's that shock factor of coming up against 5-3-2 in this environment. in that first game, you could probably say that Juve are a little bit shell-shocked of, oh, well, how do we play here? How do we play this? Because we haven't come up against the 5-3-2 in probably some time. But they've kept faith with their system, they've kept faith with their personnel, and it's paying dividends right now.
So Juventus 2, Boavista 0 in this second game. The same scoreline reversed from the first one. What's happening, Wes? What are they doing?
So you can finally see a switching formation. So they've seemed to have just gone, well, we'll chuck away the 5-3-2.
Caution to the wind.
We're 2-0 down. We can go for it. I mean,
dangerous against Juventus?
Well, one, it's dangerous against Juventus, and two, latter stages of the season, goal difference may become a factor as well, so they've got to be careful.
That's a very, very valid point, that.
Etorito was the goal scorer. Second of the game for him. The captain of Juventus really stepping up to the plate.
Well, I think it is moments like these that make the good players great as the ball gets played up straight through the middle. There's been a lot of, well, through the middle action as the ball gets played in. Oh, tipped wide by the goalkeeper, only as far as Tavares. And what a response from Boavista. The changes have made an instant impact and it's game on.
Absolutely amazing response there. It was Joker, I think, the goal scorer for Boavista, the 2019 International Esports Federation finalist. And yeah, maybe a bit fortunate, maybe if you're expecting maybe the keeper to push it a little bit wider, get it a little bit further out, not push it back into danger as he did, but Boavista, they'll take that one.
Now, I was going to say, Wes, it was all getting a bit close confined in that midfield area, and I was going to ask, why don't they push it wide more? But then I suppose if you keep probing the quick one-touch football in and around, you're going to start getting mistakes as well with tired legs, and that's exactly what happened there.
100%, you'll end up getting ricochets, you'll end up getting poor passes, poor touches, and it gives you more of an opportunity to get into goal-scoring positions.
Oh, Ronaldo has a chance to put the third in for Juventus to give them that second goal cushion again, but just shut out. Oh, lovely little flick there down on this near touchline in towards Idris in the heart of the midfield. Juventus midfield have gone all at sea as Matteo has a chance, but Bonucci is there and he's had a great game, as did Fabiano for, of course, Boavista in that first game. Similar performances for the respective teams. And now Juventus come again through Rabiot, through the heart of the midfield, in towards Dybala, one of the goal scorers, onto his favourite left foot. Game over, surely. You would think right now it's a wonderful finish from the little man.
That really should be all said and done. I'm not sure how Boavista can come back from this again. It's a well-worked move to find Dybala. As you say, left foot is his favoured. And as soon as he gets on the inside of that defender there, curls it. Yeah, maybe should do a little bit better, a little bit close to the Boavista shot stopper.
Now, Wes,
stop that one though.
Wes, we often talk about manual goalkeeping, don't we? Is there anything, I know we generally see it with one-on-ones and set pieces, is there anything they can do manually from a shot from that sort of distance? Or would you always leave that down to the AI?
You'd entrust the AI. I mean, it would take a brave person to gamble with a manual goalkeep at that point. You can move the player over and make a good save, but I think you'd be a very brave man to do so.
So 61 minutes gone, and Juventus, we mentioned what a great response from Boavista, but equally you've got to say the mettle from Juventus to then go pretty much straight down the other end and restore that two-goal cushion is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it comes back to that experience, and I think it was Il Distruttore, the goal scorer. There is confirmation on that, now on 5 goals and assists. Juventus man clearly quite pivotal in terms of their attacking intentions.
Now, just to clarify for the people at home, for you guys, you wonderful, beautiful people watching, just how strong this competition is. Boavista, who have performed absolutely brilliantly, you have to say, through large parts of today, are sitting, having played an extra couple of games, with 5 points and in 7th position. So that just goes to show what a strong league it is as the shot comes in and tips wide, pretty much straight at the goalkeeper, not going to trouble him, but again, good build-up play from Juventus.
Yeah, it was just, Lo Scandalo it was that time, the man taking the shot, but now Juve are starting to move up the gears a little bit, you know. They've got this win in the bag, they can sense blood, they can sense goals, maybe start to, you know, regain some of that goal difference that they lost in the first match. They've already done that now, up by 2, so maybe they can smell blood in the water. maybe want more goals.
So the goals today from Juventus have enabled Ildes Vittore to jump to 5 goals alongside matchday 2's top goal scorer with 5 goals, also alongside Kilsju and Barbosa, who's also got on the score sheet today. So it's really starting to tighten up at the top across all different competitions, not only the league but also the Golden Boot and the assist makers as well. As Rabiot now has a chance of playing towards Gonzalo Higuain, wins it back. Wonderful play from Rabiot. He's hit the crossbar. What a shot. The power is still rattling around there. And finally, they managed to clear their lines, and that would have been all but done. Now a chance for Boavista to come back down the other end in towards Tavares, the goal scorer. Just possibly should have pulled the trigger, went for the dummy shot, and again Juventus can count, and this game is getting really stretched now, and it's forward towards Dybala. The pass was poor, but Rabiot wins it back, and he has been pretty impressive in the heart of that midfield.
Yeah, I'm surprised the referee's not blown up for that one.
Well, he listened to you, and he's gone for it.
Yeah, tried playing the advantage there, I think, but I think Boavista will be happy about that one, because Juve, every time they attack now, they look very threatening.
Oh, it's in towards Tavares. Oh, and it's a goal back. And could we see a late equaliser? And we're going to possibly see that as we just lose a bit of sound. We're just waiting to see what's happening here. But what, I mean, where'd you start with this game so far? We've had everything pretty much other than a red card and a penalty.
Yeah, it's been really Juventus, you know, once they found those first couple of goals, really starting to push forward, started finding their feet in the game, and once that happened, you know, we started to see more and more goals from Juventus, but it looks like we might have some technical issues there on the stage.
Just to keep you updated at home, as close as that last 15 minutes could have been, it could have made for a real nail-biting finish. We have had some technical difficulties, and we're under the impression we will be restarting match 2. I mean, it's really difficult to for either team to mentally prepare for that after seeing this. You'd be disappointed being Juventus because at the end of the day you were leading the game, but equally if you're Boavista, you'd also fancy, with 50 minutes to go, a few tactical changes. You could sniff out a 3-3. You could even turn the game on its head. So it's not ideal for either, Wes.
No, it's not. And as a player, you will be focused at this point. I mean, you saw the reaction of the Boavista players as soon as the goal goes in, as soon as they realise that there's an issue, that their immediate reaction is one of a little bit of dismay. You can see the ball goes in, and you saw the reaction of those players. But mentally, you've got to reset. Not only have you got to reset for the fact that the game has now kind of stopped, you've then got to mentally reset. Like you said, you've got a completely different match situation. You'll be back to 0-0, and all of a sudden, it then becomes something completely different.
I mean, the good news for you watching at home is we get even more action.
Oh, yeah.
We get an extra game bonus.
It was EU, I think it was, who poked that goal in, obviously representing Portugal at the Euros, trying to qualify for the finals alongside Arsenal captain Christopher, who we'll see a little bit later on today. But yeah, there were plenty of goals there for Juventus. As you can see, they got 3 and the game wasn't even finished. So maybe you're expecting, if this is a full restart, Boavista, maybe you're expecting the sting to be taken out of the tail, so to speak.
We're just seeing some highlights from that match. You probably have to liken it to physical football, the floodlights going out in a stadium, maybe.
Yeah.
It does happen. Professional football players would have to deal with that, as we see the penalty save again, and what a save it was. One thing I did notice before that game was rudely interrupted, guys. There seemed to be a slight change in the communication in the Juventus camp. The confidence started flowing a little bit, and you started hearing a little bit more from Lo Scandalo and certainly Luca there.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you know, once you have that confidence, once you are in a leading position, you suddenly become a little bit more open to actually voice your opinion and get that kind of information to your captain.
I think that's how it should be, really. You don't want someone barking orders in your ear and, you know, going through that totalitarian attitude. You want it to be a group atmosphere. You want everyone's voices to be heard, and you want everyone to sort of chime in with their ideas and how they think the game should be going, I should speak.
So we'll keep you updated with what's going on. We're under the impression now that we are, because of this scoreline as was, we're going to keep that scoreline and we're going to play a second half again. So you kind of get a bonus 20 minutes or so, but the score will remain 3-2. If that is incorrect and I'm talking absolute rubbish, I will, of course, update you further. But that is as far as we are aware right now. Guys, is that fair? Do you think that's a good resolution from this situation?
I mean, I think so. I think so. Again, you're thinking Boavista might be expecting, you know, a time for a fresh start with this extra half of play. You know, with that second goal that they scored just before these technical difficulties, now they're within one. If they can get a goal quickly within this half of play, they might be able to rescue a point.
I think the key thing here, though, is that because you're starting a game from the first half, you've got full stamina, full legs. You've got
same for both teams.
It is the same for both teams, but you know, you have a different set of circumstances to what you had before. You could have argued that Boavista had that momentum. Yep. Second goal goes in, all of a sudden it becomes a snowball. We've seen it before in previous match days. I think that's where, you know, this might become a little bit more contentious.
I think the trouble is you'll never know, and that's the thing. And whatever outcome we get could have happened, couldn't have happened, and whoever comes off on the wrong foot is going to feel a little bit disheartened. But equally, if you come out of it on top, you're like, brilliant.
Yeah,
so
great.
Again, it's fair. It's the fairest way we can possibly do it. I just hope that the half of football we're about to see is as entertaining as what we have seen already.
It should be, purely because Boavista now know they need a goal. With those fresh legs, with everyone at full stamina, yes, obviously you have the defenders full stamina as well, but usually that tends to play into the attacker's favour. I mean, yeah, you have defenders who are able to muscle out attackers if they are able to, you know, jump those runs and get a head start on the ball in front of the attacker. But if you have, like on the Juventus side, Cristiano Ronaldo, you know, full pelt, it's definitely going to benefit them as opposed to someone like CR7 who might be, you know, a little bit worse for wear. That, you know, the years are ticking down now. The stamina might be not all that it used to be there for Mr. Ronaldo.
I think looking at it, I think it's going to be interesting to see how this game is approached now with this kind of you know, situation that I don't think anybody was anticipating. I think it's going to be fascinating to see if players go all out attack. Will they, you know, they play it a bit more conservative? You know, how is it that they're going to try and play this out? And I'm not too sure. And like I say, as a player, it's disruptive. I've had it happen to me before in previous tournaments where, you know, we've had to replay halves, and it's jarring because then you go, you know, you do get into the realm of, oh well, what happened? What would have happened? You know, funny enough, you know, the game in question was a co-op game against Eldridge O'Neill, so, you know, he'll know the situation. You know, you'll understand that how these boys are feeling now.
So let's have a little listen then to the Juventus boys, see how they feel about this restart.
So we are seconds from kickoff, and this game feels like it's been on for 3 days, but I'm not complaining because it has been action-packed. And just to give you a rundown, top goal scorer currently sits with 5 goals. Usmakabal, Luca, Tubelli, Barbosa and Loscandalo. No, Loscandalo's got 4 goals, should I say. Kilshu is the other player with 5. Top assist maker is Usmakabal again, 7 to his name so far in the competition. Remember that he's also not played any games yet, which is worrying, as we hear again from the players down here.
How do you think, Wes, they might set the teams up differently now they know that there is full stamina at play? I can see already a substitution from the Boavista boys. Do you think maybe they set the teams up a little bit differently to either strike on the counter or just get a grip on the game?
I personally think both teams will just. I think for Juve, I think they could easily try and ride this out as one half. I think Boavista will go all out for this. I think that's how I see it going down. Whether it's Juve or Boavista that win it out at the end, I'm not so certain just yet.
So your score on the screen says 0-0, but it is, of course, 2-3. 2 for Boavista and 3 for Juventus. We will play 45 minutes of eFootball PES 2020. And the score from this 45 will be added to that 3-2 scoreline, resulting in our final score.
It's fascinating.
Happy?
I think so. It's quite fascinating that we get to see this sort of restart situation. And Usually it tends to...
We just like to test the players, don't we,
Well,
here
it
in
tends
eFootball?
to play more towards the more experienced of the two teams. That certainly would be Juventus in you know, a several-time world champion in Eterito, you know, several-time runner-up as well. So we'll see how it plays out.
So it's going to be Boavista who get the game underway and are straight on the front foot, as we thought they might be. If they could get a goal, it could be really interesting. Wonderful save from the Juve #1, and it is all hands on deck already, Harry.
Yeah, it is. Boavista know what they have to do within this half of football is get at least a goal without conceding. It's a good start, but can they break through and really get that goal to put Juve on the back foot?
Remember, on the counter-attack, the likes of Ronaldo, Piazza, Dybala, all top players in that attacking third, so they've got to be careful, as it almost found its way through. Piazza now heads it down, but Idris with the interception, and it's that man again forward towards Khedira. Lovely 1-2 with Douglas Costa. Now Costa again, Ronaldo forwards, Rabiot to the right-hand side. This is a free-flowing, lovely one-touch football. Juventus attack, and it's in towards Douglas Costa again, and Boavista just managed to smuggle it towards the edge of the area. Still, Juventus have possession, finally whacked away, and that is always the threat, Harry, of going forwards for Boavista.
Yeah, it is. It was a tremendous exhibition there of, as you said, free-flowing, one-touch.
I said all of them, all of the superlatives.
I mean, it was perfect until the very last moment when, again, that defence from Boavista, the last man always seems to make that tackle. And as long as you have a Boavista man in front of a Juve player, it's going to be tricky for them to get anything going.
In towards Cassiano, headed away by Chiellini for a throw on the near touchline. 10 minutes gone in this potential last 45. And it is 3-2 to Juve. Thrown in, Cassiano, completely unmarked there, but zonally, Juventus did their jobs. And now Idris, who's picking up a much deeper role now after bossing large parts of the midfield battle. He now sits nearer the defence, and Douglas Costa now finds Sami Khedira forward towards Piazza. Now Dybala, Costa and Rabiot all spin off the right-hand side. And, well, the pass to Rabiot looked like the better option, but he still finally has possession. Dybala challenged by Marlon. Still, they can't really create many inroads, but are Juventus happy so far with this?
I'm not sure they'll be too happy with the amount of chances they've created, but certainly happy with how the passes seem to be flowing on the counter-attack. But again, it's just that Boavista men just hounding as soon as they get the ball. Goes out for another Juventus throw-in, but it's just constant hounding of the ball here from Boavista.
Wes, is this a real test of the Boavista lads? Because, of course, we talked about big game experience, the likes of Luca and Eterito, who have obviously you know, been on the big stage in the co-op. Is that something that we're now going to see from Boavista?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's now a case of how you know, how do you combat these types of situations. I don't think Boavista would have been in this type of situation before. What's interesting for me, though, Juventus are attacking. They don't need to. They just need to
It does seem pretty interesting.
They just need to win the game out. They don't need to attack.
They keep almost inviting pressure, don't they, by going forwards themselves. Yeah, it's a very odd one, considering there's only 20 minutes left.
I think the type of players that you have on the Juventus roster are always going to want more goals, and they'll be chasing the accolades and those leaderboards, of course.
I suppose what you'll have to think as well, one more goal pretty much kills the game off, whereas, as we know, momentum, as we build towards a nervy last 10 to 15 minutes, they don't want to leave it open to potentially walking away today with 1 point, because if they concede in the last 10, it's you know.
You also have to think about goal difference. You know, after losing by 2 goals, they're only up by 1 here, so you'd be at a net loss in terms of goal difference coming into today.
Another chance here for Boavista. It's in towards Cassiano. Chiellini, who's been an absolute stalwart at the back there for the Italian Giants. They can't find Khedira, who seems to be a bit of a passenger at the moment, I might add. He seems to be not able to contain the drive of the Boavista FC midfield. Now Dybala picks it up, who's very deep. Pressure just beginning to being invited the other way now, because we talked about them going forwards too much. It now seems like they're playing a little bit too deep, Harry.
Yeah, they might have heard you and realised that
Words
they
of
are
wisdom.
Within. Although the game on their screens will say 0-0, they are
actually
up.
says 3-2.
It is a 3-2. That's only for us, though. The players in PES will still just see that 0-0 scoreline because they are playing a fresh new game. So, yeah, it's important for Juventus players to really remember where they are within the grand scheme of this match and not get too ahead of themselves.
So, Fabiano. Picks it up, long ball downfield towards Tavares. 50 minutes is all that stands between Juventus and 3 crucial points in the eFootball.Pro match day 3. Marlon. Matthias in towards Paulinho. Another chance to possibly shoot. He's not going to. He's going to pass it when? Again, Wes. A little pop shot, try something, risk something, may have come off.
Yeah, I mean, you're in that scenario. You're in that scenario of, well, you know, we've only got, what, 12 minutes left of the game. You need to try something else.
Oh, it's a lovely turn from Piazza in towards Douglas Costa. They can't get out here. It's Dybala. What a save from the goalkeeper. And it looks like possibly the offside flag might be raised.
It was a foul, I think.
A foul of tugging of the shirt. It's all going off inside that 18-yard box. And with just 10 minutes remaining, that would have sealed proceedings. But Boavista are hanging on.
Yeah, 10 minutes or
that's
so
a
plus
mistake.
added on.
It's Piazza. He's in here. Chance to seal the game to make it 4-2.
Where's the
He's got support in the middle. Doesn't use them, and perhaps that might have been a better option. He's gone for the near post, and it's a smart stop in the end out for a corner.
Yeah, but I'm not sure he really had the options on here. They certainly seem to have been, or at least had their angles cut off by the retreating Boavista players. So I think that was the right option. At least get a corner, you know, burn some more time off of this clock. That certainly is in the favour of Juventus at the moment.
The wonderful phrase, the overused phrase of game management, as Dybala whips it in towards Khedira, headed away, and as far as Rabiot, my standout player, certainly from a Juventus point of view, as Dybala now picks the ball up on that right-hand side, plays it in towards Douglas Costa, now finds Khedira, chance to win the game here, onto the left foot, onto the right foot, cleared away. In terms of the actual players here, who would you say your pick of the game has been? Well, I'm actually going to cut myself off because we've got another chance here with only 5 minutes remaining. It is Boavista who still have that pressure. Whacked away downfield towards Dybala, and the offside flag is raised, and it is do or die time for Boavista. Last chance saloon for the Portuguese Giants.
If you're asking me that question again, I'm thinking the 2 captains. I think Eterito and Barbosa, both with tremendous goal-scoring form throughout these 2.5 games, also defensively putting a shift in as well.
Wes, I know what I'm seeing on my screen, but what are you seeing? Because that looks pretty defensive.
I can see a handbrake being applied to a bus.
A slight automobile looking like on the field.
But that's what you need to do in situations like this, where you know that it's, what, a matter of moments away, and that you know that this ball, I mean, you can see on the opposite side, they're chucking the kitchen sink at them on the other side. So you know this is coming, so you've got to try and defend against it.
I mean, the Boavista lineup looks very similar to the Brazil of old, with Cafu and Carlos flying down the wings. Obviously, big players in PES.
Looks reminiscent of a crossbow. That's what it looks like,
yeah.
As a formation goes.
It certainly does, and equally, looks like a bit of a pit on the Juventus side, just soaking up that pressure, that rainwater.
I am looking at that Juventus lineup though, with Higuain up top. He might be a counter target they try and exploit, with Dybala playing just behind him. If Boavista don't get that clear-cut chance and Juventus can get it out to a release valve like a Higuain or a Dybala, I mean, anything could happen. Juve could get a goal, or Boavista could.
They could indeed, but we only have 3 minutes remaining here at the end of the game. If you're just joining us now, this has had to be restarted, this second half, due to a technical difficulty. So the scoreline was 3-2 when we begun proceedings, with 45 minutes to play. So this will be the end of the game as soon as 45 plus injury time is up, and time is up, and it's down the wrong end of the field for Boavista, because Juventus are sailing towards their first 3 points of the day, and going up the table as Higuain's in there. So is Dybala. Left foot shot blocked by Fabiano. It's behind for a corner, but the time is ticking away.
Yeah, this is the end of the pitch that you want it at if you are Juventus. Just taking the sting out of the game. Very nice block there from a Boavista player. That potentially could have been flying goalwards, and if Juve get a goal at that point, it's game over. But still a tiny chance here for Boavista. A very slim glimmer.
This would be one hell of a counter-attack if it were to happen. 2 minutes of added on time. They're going to play it short in towards Higuain, and there's frustration kicking off there. Naughty challenge on Higuain, should I say, and it is going to be Cuadrado who's going to leave it and waste even more time. And surely now we're looking at points shared across the board. 3 for Boavista in match 1, 3 for Juve in match 2, unless they can find some kind of way of getting out. It's in towards Rabiot now. Khedira finds Dybala, back towards him again. It's Dybala! What a save from the goalkeeper, and that should have wrapped it up. But as things stand, it has finished here. The 45 minutes are done, and it's finished. Boavista 2, Juventus 3, and it's 3 points apiece. And Wes, I'm pretty sure both sides on the whole will be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, given how it kind of broke down in game 2, obviously with the technical difficulties, I think they'll be pleased with having, both come away with 3 points. I think, looking at the way that Boavista played, I think, as we mentioned in commentary, had you had offered them 3 points at the start of the day, I reckon they would have snapped your hand off.
Yeah, it was a great performance from them in that first game. They gave Juventus, barring the missed penalty, pretty much no sniff of a chance at goal. In the second game, it was a bit different because, of course, Juve were able to get that goal, and then it's just a completely different ball game. And Juventus are probably the hardest team, possibly maybe Monaco, to once they get a goal up. They're so strong, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about physicality being important with stat balancing and things of that nature. You look at the likes of who they have at the back, as you mentioned quite a few times, Bonucci. You've got the likes of De Ligt, you've got Chiellini. You have those players that are able to lock down a defence, and having those players at disposal is brilliant.
Certainly is indeed, and we will be going shortly to the mix zone with Harry as soon as the players are up and ready after that enthralling first match in match day 3. We've got some interesting words to hear from them for sure. Wes, is there anything that you want Harry to ask? So many questions off the top of your head that you really want answers to?
I think really were Juve shocked by how Boavista set out in their a 5-3-2 formation, like we mentioned, is not something you're really encountering when you're playing competitive PES. You very rarely run into a team that's set out.
We often see the 4-3-3.
You see a very narrow 4-3-3. You see 2 second strikers. You see a centre forward. You sometimes see 3 CFs. But in this type of environment, you're very rarely going to come across somebody that, and were they shocked by that? And was it a case that the second game that shock kind of wore off and they got back to playing the way that they normally do?
And what do you think they did using that formation, which nullified Juventus so much? Why does that formation change such a difference in the game plan for Juventus?
Well, if you look at the way that Juve was set out, they had their 3 up front. You had Piazza, you had Ronaldo, you had Dybala. You've got 3 centre-backs that can cover those 3 players. It allows you to just have options, as you alluded to the likes of Cafu and Carlos of old. You have those wing-back options that you can then push up the pitch and create a 5 in midfield.
Overload.
Yeah, you can create an overload. And that was the way it was kind of how it looked like Boavista were playing.
Indeed, indeed. So, of course, we will be going on to match 2 of match day 3 shortly. We're just seeing some highlights of the game that we've just seen. We touched on the players when we kept seeing close-ups and the conversations between them, and we touched on how the big captains were kind of coming out. Did you feel Etorito, the captain for Juventus, did enough over the course of the 2 games?
I think so. I think there was a couple of manual saves that actually Ettore pulled off, and he led the line pretty well. Not even in the sense of scoring goals and creating assists. He was able to kind of lead his team. Sometimes it's not necessarily about what you do on the pitch, it's about how you behave off it. And I think he leads that team as better than anyone.
And we weren't sure about Boavista in terms of there wasn't really a elected captain, so to speak. They were much more sort of a bit of a free-for-all in terms of their team talks, etc. But the 2 goals for Barbosa, do you see him as their main man?
I see him as their guy. I mean, some of the manual saves that we saw were Barbosa. The 2 critical goals in the first game, Barbosa. But again, they're more of a sum of the parts team as opposed to whether you're looking at how good the individuals are. It's when they come as a collective that they seem to shine.
He's got a hell of a celebration, I know that much.
Oh yeah, no,
lovely
100%.
to watch. It's also great to see, certainly in the eFootball PES community, that when the game's done, they do then kind of come together as players, and they're more than happy to shake hands, and you very rarely see that sort of trouble after the game, which is nice to see. It's a real community, isn't it?
Yeah. And in terms of the the eFootball PES community, both on a pro level and just the community as a whole, it's a collaborative kind of environment. You look at particular streamers and things like that. it is that kind of family feel to it. So these guys will shake hands and come away with it, and it's key for sportsmanship at the end of the day as well.
Yep, indeed. The mix zone is ready. Harry is ready. Let's hear what the players have to say, starting with, I believe, Harry, Juventus.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. I'm here with the Juventus team. Ettore, 2 goals for yourself, reigning MVP after match day 2. You said to me before we came over here, not happy with the result. Can you tell me a little bit why that is?
Yeah, sure. I'm not totally happy because in the first match we missed a lot of chances. Maybe 3 times Luca, 3 times Renzo, the penalty miss. So maybe in the first match we need a win, and but it's the game. In real football, it's the same. So if you don't score, maybe you can lose. So it's okay. In the second match, we play well, and of course we win. So only this. Just a little bit disappointed about this, but it's okay. 3 points.
You play against Manchester United on match day 4 in a couple of weeks. Do you think you'll tweak anything against Manchester United, or maybe try and take more of the chances that you created here against Boavista?
Yeah, maybe we need to stay focused all the time in front of the goalkeeper and try to understand how to play now, because Piazza is out from Juventus, maybe. So we need to understand how to play in next match day versus Manchester United.
So maybe a couple of transfers there happening in the January transfer window. Adam, back over to you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Harry. Interesting to hear that. Of course, transfers going on in the physical form of football, and that affecting, of course, eFootball.Pro. Anything that you picked out from that wonderful interview that sort of springs to mind that you can pick your hat?
Well, it was interesting to hear about the Ettore talk about the chances that they missed. Also on commentary, we didn't really see clear-cut chances, but I often define them as chances to have chances. You could see, and you could even hear it at some points, where they know that there's a pass on that could lead to a chance, and it was those final passes in the first game that didn't quite come off. And then he mentioned the penalty miss,
the post.
The penalty miss was vital in that first game, and like I said, the little bit of gamesmanship from Boavista was perfect, but it was interesting to see that they had seen chances that we hadn't.
Yeah, we gave them the underdog title before kickoff. We now have Boavista FC. Let's hear what they had to say.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm here with the Boavista boys. 3 points. A tremendous result from our point of view. Do you guys see it the same? You must be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, we are happy with the 3 points, but we always work for the 6 points. I think in the first game, we tactically wise were really superior to Juventus. We had a good plan, and we showed in the stage. In the second game, we had some moments when we could execute better, but the luck of the game wasn't with us, and we felt that in the end of the game, and the stop was